Business Center of San Luis Obispo for sponsoring today's presentation. My name is Richard Myersco. I am the Caltrans District 5, a District Small Business Liaison. So it's a little bit of a mouthful, so we often shorten that to DSBL. It is my duty to assist small businesses in navigating Caltrans processes. Caltrans District 5, where I work, consists of the counties of Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, Monterey, San Benito, and Santa Cruz. Today's presentation, is titled Know Your Small Business Resources. This is the fifth installment in the Paving the Road to Success with Caltrans series of training presentations that are specifically authored to assist today's small businesses. The presentation will give a basic overview of the small business resources offered by Caltrans as well as other community organizations. Before we get started, we'd like to review Caltrans' non-discrimination policy statement. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination based upon race, color, and national origin. Specifically, 42 U.S.C. 2000D states that no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. This is really at the heart of everything Caltrans is hoping to achieve. Our department mission is to provide a safe and reliable transportation network that serves all people and respects the environment. Caltrans strives to provide a safe, sustainable, integrated, and efficient transportation system to enhance our state's economy and livability. As you can see from some of the numbers quoted on this slide, maintaining Caltrans' transportation system is an incredible operation in its scope. The fourth and fifth bullet points should really capture your attention as Caltrans is telling you it needs assistance and its contracting partners in the private sector are essential. We need your help, and this hopefully means opportunity. Today's learning objectives. You will need to assess and determine what are your company's primary goals. Today, we will address three of the most common goals, small business goals, and introduce the associated resources for each of these goals. In addition to determining your firm's goals, you will also learn how to provide goods and services to Caltrans, learn how to identify resources inside and outside of Caltrans after certification, and learn about free resources available from Caltrans partners. It is wise to determine your goals and then determine what are the next steps to achieve. In the next few slides, we will discuss what are your goals when working with government agencies, what are the applicable resources needed to help achieve those goals, and what are resources available in the community to help your business. The three most common things we hear from small businesses are, I want to work with government agencies in general. I want to provide a product and or service specifically tailored to Caltrans. And then, of course, there's a lot of folks who just say, I want to, market my business to anyone and everyone. That's kind of a joke. But the first two are absolutely very common things that we hear. So Roman numeral 1, I want to work with government agencies in general. Let's kind of take a look at that. And here are some things to consider. There are a few key items a small business should consider when looking into doing work with government agencies, such as what certifications does this agency recognize? On what online platform does each agency use? Does each agency utilize? What are the requirements before you can bid on a project? Are there even opportunities for my type of work with this agency? I mean, you don't want to waste your time and effort, right? Who do I need to get in contact with to even start? Government agencies can span from your local municipalities, such as cities or counties, where your business is located, to state, which is, of course, what Caltrans is, and all the way to federal and, level, which is nationwide. If your company is looking for work on a state agency level, almost every agency or department within the state of California has a small business or small business advocates, and they also sometimes will be part of the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise certification. An essential objective and purpose of these advocates' roles is to assist small businesses and DVBEs pursuing contracting opportunities with their respective departments. So there's a person who that's their whole job, is to help small businesses. And that would be the case for myself. Utilize the provided link on this page and it'll allow you to go to a page where you can download an Excel worksheet, which lists all the small business and disabled veteran advocates statewide. So that's kind of an important thing if you're looking at other state agencies. I can tell you if you're interested in working with Caltrans, a DSBL like myself would probably be where you'd want to start. But for other state agencies like the Department of Motor Vehicles, the Department of State Hospitals, check out that list to see who the advocate is, and then that way you can maybe make contact with them. And here's just kind of a screenshot of what that directory will look like. It will provide information, including the department name. Obviously, that's important. The contact person and their contact information. The list would be your point of contact and first step in doing business with that agency. So again, that would be the case for myself as well. If you're thinking about doing business with Caltrans, I would say giving myself or the appropriate counterpart to myself in the other districts. I think that would be a good first step. Let's say you decide you want to focus on doing business specifically with Caltrans. So we're going to talk about Caltrans now. So Roman numeral 2, I want to provide a product and or service specifically to Caltrans. So here's a few things to consider. A few items your company should take into consideration when venturing the idea of doing business with Caltrans, including knowing which certifications Caltrans specifically recognizes. A reminder, by the way, that those certifications are small business, disabled veteran business enterprise, and disadvantaged business enterprise. So those are some certifications that we've talked about in our prior presentations that when we partnered with the Women's Business Center. But I'm happy to kind of go over those again, and we'll talk about a little bit more as we go on. What is your company's capacity? Can it handle large dollar contracts? It's always a good idea, and I think that the folks at the Women's Business Center would agree, it's always a good idea to stay within your capabilities, because if you, I don't want to, this sounds negative, but if you bite off more than you can chew, it could really be a stressful event for yourself, and we don't want you to do that. What position or division within Caltrans do you feel would benefit the most from hearing about your service or product? So for instance, do you provide a new innovative safety gear? And do you feel that this may benefit the maintenance workers that work directly in the field? Or do you have a state-of-the-art software program that you feel can help engineers monitor progress on projects? Or do you provide cleanup and hauling services and would like to assist on Caltrans construction projects? Certifications can be both intimidating and time-consuming. And so here's where it gets really sort of, I think, confusing. It's confusing for me, so I'm imagining it could be confusing for some of you. Each government entity, so we're talking about city, county, state, and federal, they independently recognize their own specific certifications. So we'll use the city of San Luis Obispo, for instance. They are going to have their own certifications that they recognize, and they may or may not be the same as Caltrans, and I can tell you they probably are different. So some of these certifications may or may not be recognized by neighboring agencies. Once again, please note that Caltrans only recognizes, so getting back to what we talked about in the previous slide, small business certification, often referred to as SB, the disabled veteran business enterprise certification, also referred to as DVBE, and the disadvantaged business enterprise certification, which is referred to as DBE. But you look on this page and you can see a bunch of other ones, right? And there may be several other certifications that sound similar. So, you know, we have a small business certification we recognize, but at the top there, you see small disadvantaged business. They sound very similar, right? But they're actually different. So we're just putting these up there just to kind of let you know that there are going to be other certifications, and we think you should absolutely look into those, but they will not assist you with working with Caltrans, and we just want to make that point clear. And this can feel overwhelming, but remember, if you refer to the information we're going to give out today, or if you want to just contact me, we can make sure that you're on the right track. And we're here to support you. And here's some more that are even crazier. And these are kind of, you can tell that some of these are quite specific to municipalities throughout California. That top one catches my attention. San Diego County Water Authority small business. So that's in its title tells you it's quite specific. So that would not be something you would probably be needing to have if you were only going to be doing business here in San Luis Obispo County. But that doesn't mean you don't want to do business in San Diego. So please feel free to do whatever is right for you. But you can see how this can turn into a little bit of alphabet soup. All right, so getting back to Caltrans and the certifications we recognize, we're just going to talk about those again a little bit. So small business, or SB, you see at the top there. It's also sometimes called small business public works. They are sort of slightly different, but they're kind of in the same umbrella. The small business umbrella is a state of California certification that includes the micro business designation and the adjacent small business for the purpose of public works certification. We also have the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, DVBE, and the DVBE is also a state of California certification that seeks to assist armed forces veterans with service-related disabilities who've left military service. So it is quite specific that disability has to be of a certain percentage on your discharge paperwork, and it also has to be something that happened while you were in the service. Unfortunately, if you became disabled after your service was over, then you may not qualify. On the federal side of projects, we also have the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, the DBE. The DBE is a federal certification, so it's a federally provided certification to address the disparity between some businesses and others in terms of access to economic opportunity and seeks to level the playing field for these businesses. DBE certifications are based upon an owner being a member of a certain minority group or if they are women-owned. When a project has even $1 of federal funds, you can expect to see some type of DBE goal. On this slide, you can see what Caltrans goals are in regards to the certification. 25% for small business or SB, 5% for DBBE, and those are going to be on the state side, and then 22.2% for DBE on the federally funded contracts. So you'll see that if the state stuff's being utilized, then it's going to be a state funded project. If the federal certification, the DBE, is being utilized, then that's going to be a project that has at least $1 of federal funding in it. And can you have all three of these? I should mention this. Of course you could. You could qualify for all three. And we've seen that many times. And I would suggest looking into all three if you feel like you do qualify for them. The California Department of General Services, also called DGS, so that's a fellow state agency, certifies small business and disabled veteran business enterprise certification. By visiting the link on the screen, you can find access to more information regarding both certifications, including eligibility requirements, access to the application forms, and supplemental documentation requirements. For questions, there's also going to be some there's like an email address, and there's that 916-375-4940 number on there. And I do suggest you reach out to them if you have specific questions about that. The DSBLs, like myself, are absolutely going to be able to tell you things, but we're not allowed to tell you whether or not you meet the requirements. We're just allowed to give you the information. So certainly give those folks a call, or if you have questions about how long it's going to take, how long your current application is taking, again, refer to them. Now that we've explained where to go for SB and DBBE certification, let's talk about where you can get DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certification. And I apologize, some of these names are very similar. It is very confusing. Okay, the California Unified Certification Program, also called the CUCP. So that's kind of like the governing agency here in the state of California for the DBE certification. And Caltrans is a member of that. You can see us at the top of that list that's on the page right now. With that said, I'd like to emphasize that Caltrans is only recognized the DBE certification that is issued from one of these certifying agencies. So in other words, if you have a DBE certification from another state, you're going to have to recertify here in California. That can be frustrating, but those are the rules that are given to us. But here are all the agencies that will help you. You'll see San Francisco Bay Area, you'll see City of Fresno, LA County, City of Los Angeles. So a lot of these are going to be municipalities that are local to their communities. I think Caltrans, just looking at this list, is the only one that is statewide. So basically, this does not mean you need to obtain a certification from each of those listed agencies. Only one is necessary. So you're going to choose one of the folks on this, one of the organizations on this list, and then you're going to go about getting your DBE certification through them. And then you will have to report to them, as well as if you have any questions, you'll have to refer to them. That some companies choose to get certified by the closest agency to their place of business. I'm not seeing one that jumps out immediately as being local to San Luis Obispo, but obviously Caltrans is here, so we could help you. And we're the only statewide certifying agency on this list. Once you obtain certification from one of these agencies, your company's information and certification status will be placed into the CUCP database, and that is searchable by the public. So that's a good thing. Okay, so we talked about how other people can help you with getting your DBE certification, including all the agencies that were on that prior page. But let's just say you want to stick with Caltrans Health. Here's how you do it. You can access the application online. By the way, you may have someone tell you that you can mail it in. And if anybody has received their DB certification in the last umpteen number of years, including like 3-4 months ago, they're probably going to tell you they mailed it in. Now the system is online, which I think is much more convenient. You don't have to worry about your stuff being lost in the mail, but it is actually now the only, and that just came down, I think, right before the new year. It is the only way to process. So you will have to do it online with a computer, and that can be intimidating for some folks. I get it. But that's unfortunately the only way that Caltrans will be able to help you with your DBE certification. You will also need to upload certain documents, and that will be in the information on the links that are provided. So one is for an info page, and I do recommend kind of checking that out. It just has a bunch of like informational stuff for you to look at. However, the link right below it, that second one in the middle of the page, is an actual dedicated DBE website, and that's where you're going to be doing all your uploading and all your stuff. So that is kind of new. It's been around for like maybe 2 years, and they've kind of gotten they've been tweaking it and getting it perfected, and now that's why they've gone to the only online version, and that is where you will do it on that second link. And then if you have questions, however, we do have a dedicated DBE certification unit, and those folks are available to you during business hours. They're located in Sacramento, but they also do have an email address. So check that out if you have any questions. And if you need more assistance with just filling out the paperwork portion, we encourage you to contact that DBE unit. Again, if you either have one that's already in the pipeline and you just want to have questions about when it's going to be coming back to you, or if you have questions about something they've reached out to you about, then of course contact them. I think the Apex Accelerators also will help. Those are a small business community organization, and we'll talk a little bit more about them later as we go on with the presentation. Okay, Roman numeral 3. Let's fast forward a bit. So you got all that pesky certification stuff done, and you're certified now. So where do you go for opportunities? What's your next step? So there are 3 groups of businesses typically doing, work with Caltrans, and I would say this is absolutely true that most firms that come into contact with us are in one of these 3 categories. Construction, that probably makes sense, right? I think that's what most folks think of when they think of Caltrans. We also have architecture and engineering, or often referred to as A&E, and that is like the folks who do the planning and all the blueprints and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to be in that category. And then we also have service and commodities. So you're either selling a service to us or you're selling a product, whatever it is, widgets. It could be anything. Every business is individualized, which means that not all resources are applicable to your business. So we get that some of the information today may not be a good fit for you, but I guarantee we're probably going to give you some good stuff that will help your particular business. In this segment of the presentation, we will be providing general resource links respective to each type of business. All right. For those companies that provide construction-related services, we have provided some resources specifically intended to assist you. Caltrans uses an electronic bidding process. All projects are typically advertised between 3 to 7 weeks, and bids can be submitted and resubmitted at any time prior to bid opening. Contractor's Corner, so that's the link there on the left-hand side of the page. is an online webpage where you can view information on the electronic bidding process, active construction related solicitations, including project specifications, upcoming projects, advertisements from primes, looking for certified subcontractors, and so much more. The contractors page is a one to bookmark. So if you're in construction, that might be the most used website or link for you. And if you're starting out as a company and you're looking for mentoring opportunities, Caltrans recently launched a new program. It's really exciting. It's called the Construction Mentor Protege Program. Again, kind of wordy, so it's called the CMPP. So Construction Mentor Protege Program. Mouthful, right? This program is designed to encourage and support small businesses who are the proteges in the program, where they are matched and mentored by a larger prime contractor. So small construction companies will actually be working in this program. They'll be matched with a prime contractor, so a more established, larger construction company. At the same time, comprehensive training workshops are offered. This all culminates in a program graduation for the folks who are in it. The Construction Mentor Protege Program was constructed to help small and locally owned construction firms acquire the knowledge, skills, and relationships necessary to bid and successfully complete public works projects. All 12 Caltrans districts are currently implementing the CMPP, with the first program classes scheduled to graduate later this year. So it's just started. We just rolled it out like the beginning. I think it technically may have started for certain districts at the end of last year. Here in District 5, they had a staggered kind of a approach to it. Here in District 5, I think we started ours at the beginning of January. So it's very exciting. If you are interested in participating in the program, you're encouraged to seek program updates within your district. And of course, just check out the link here that's provided, and that will take you to a page with all the information. You're also welcome to call me, and we can help you. So very exciting. That's something we're proud of, because we feel like not all, in order for you to work with Caltrans, we feel like you don't have to be one of the big guys. You can be a smaller company who is working in a project sizes that are appropriate to them. And we just felt like that would be, if we could get that information and train the folks to be able to do that, that would be better for everyone. So that's what we're trying to do. Architecture and engineering, A&E. So here's a couple of links, 3 links that will help you. On the Division of Procurement and Contracts website, by the way, that's an internal element here at Caltrans. You can find the link for the Architecture and Engineering contract information. A&E is sometimes referred to, by the way, as professional services. Folks in that industry will know that, so that don't be too confused if you hear that term as well. They kind of use interchangeably. We encourage A&E firms to bookmark this link. Yeah, it's very important. This link will give you access to advertise for A&E projects, audits, and investigation guides, the California Code of Regulations, and a plethora of other information, including cost proposal documents, required forms and instructions, goal requirements, and contracting processes. Other resources listed on this page are the Look Ahead report and the Cal Mentor site. Putting together a bid proposal can take a significant amount of time. Ideally, having advance notice is going to give you more time to maximize your research time, for your team. And I just lost my place, excuse me. And maximize the research time for your team requires, which is a requirement that's going to help you with hopefully have a successful bid. The A&E Look Ahead report is designed to do just that. This report is updated daily to reflect all projects coming down the pipeline for all 12 Caltrans districts, including, yours truly here in District 5. Keep in mind that the dates reflected on this report are projected dates and may potentially move up or be delayed. However, it gives you an idea of what you can expect, when you can expect such projects to be advertised to the public. So that makes sense, right? Sometimes planning, we're just barely we're speculating in some ways, making an educated guess. So things can happen, inclement weather, for instance, and that can put a project out further. So just keep that in mind. And I think folks in this industry kind of realize that. The second resource we'd like to highlight is the Cal Mentor program. So just like on the previous slide, we talked about the Construction Mentor Protege program. This one is kind of like their version of it for A&E. It offers mentor proteges the opportunity to come together. This program is designed to encourage and support small businesses through voluntary partnerships and networking events with larger prime firms. I have been involved with CalMentor for the past year, and I think it's a really great opportunity for folks who are in the A&E industry. And I would highly recommend, if you are, that you think about at least looking into and finding out if it's a good fit for you. It's just a great way for you to network. And folks in the A&E industry, and I'm hoping this will be the same for the construction mentor program, but it is definitely something where they have a kinship, a camaraderie, and they want to, help each other up, to move up. And so it's kind of a cool thing. Specifically, the program aims to increase the participation of small professional service firms on public transportation projects in their respective districts. So visit the link to find out more. So, service and commodities. If your company has a product that can be used in construction, maintenance, or in the operation of the California construction and transportation system, you may want to contact them at the email address at the top of the page there. This area can also assist with adding a product to existing authorized material list, AMLs, another kind of mouthful. You can view the current AMLs and their criteria at the website link provided. For more, and by the way, we're going to, Gabrielle is going to help me out by sending this to any attendees. So don't worry about these convoluted links with the state likes long IRLs, right? So no worries on that. We will send this to you. So if you're busily scribbling all these down and you're trying to push, get one letter off, right, and it won't work, we're going to send it out to you. And of course, and you're always welcome to follow up as well. For more information about the submittal process for product evaluation programs, so let's say you have a product and you kind of want it to be tested, because we have labs here and we'll test everything to make sure it's up to snuff, because we want our folks to be as safe as possible. So that is another link we have provided on there if you want to send your information, and just ask them to send you back some other follow-up information so you can find out more about the program. You can also search already awarded contracts within Caltrans relating to your commodity service and see what the contract, when that contract is due to expire. We'll address that in the next slide. Okay, so both the state contract and procurement registration system, Skippers, it's a little easier, right? You'll see it in the parentheses there. And the statewide procurement data dashboard can be located on the Department of General Services DGS website. You can also find it on CaliProcure, which we'll talk more about that. For those companies that provide a commodity or service at Caltrans already currently uses, the state contract and procurement registration system would be a great resource to check out. So if you think your product has already probably been bought by Caltrans, then maybe go on that I guess portal and see what prior contracts how much we bought, what we paid for, and what was the company that sold it to us, just so you can find out what's going on. You can search already awarded contracts within the Caltrans relating to your commodity or service and see when the contract is due to expire. This will allow you to prepare and anticipate when the contract is forthcoming. The statewide procurement data dashboard is available to provide governmental transparency by making state contract and procurement information readily available to the public. So that's the one good thing about working with government. Maybe not always the case when you're trying to sell to a private sector member. We have to, because we're obviously taxpayer funds and tax funds are being used for us. We have to make our information available. So it's somewhere, and we'll help you get there to find it. Some of the featured dashboards are department spend, statewide contract spend, and top 10 UNSP SC spend. The statewide procurement data in these dashboards are used to create innovative solutions that support and improve California's digital procurement efforts. Okay, we talked about it a second ago, but CaliProcure, let's talk about that. Whether your company conducts construction, professional services, or sells commodities, CaliProcure will be a key small business resource when wanting to do business with Caltrans or any other state agency for that matter. Caltrans partners with the Department of General Services to make conducting business with the state of California a more streamlined process. there's always going to be paperwork when you're trying to sell to the government. That's probably not a huge reveal to anybody who's attending today, but it's because we do get audited internally, and we just have to always be on the sure that we're using funds correctly and appropriately. DGS maintains the California State Contracts Registry, also known as Cali Procure, an online portal where most state bidding and contracting opportunities are advertised. Cali Procure is referred to as California's government marketplace. That's sort of their tagline for how they market themselves, and it's true. The functions available in this portal include bidder registration, where all bidders can set up their profile. SB and DVBE firms have already been pre-registered in the system. And then you can update your own profile from there. And you can also do opt-in. So if you want to find out, hey, whenever there's a contract about selling widgets, I would like to be informed of that. And especially if it's in San Luis Obispo. So you can opt in and receive, I think, emailed notification. You can also get certified there. So if you're looking to get your small business or disabled veterans business enterprise certification, this is actually the site that you will go to. New applicants can apply for certification on Cali Procure. Firms already certified can update or renew their certification information. Excuse me. You or other companies can search for certified SB or DVBE firms. So if you're trying to find out what other companies out there are doing what you do, and maybe they're also certified, just to see what they're up to, you can look at that too. So this is open to the public for you, and for obviously for folks who have profiles to be able to check out as well. And I do sort of recommend you do that. To reiterate, you can search for bid opportunities and receive notifications on these opportunities. We've got a link on there to help you, and that's just a screenshot of, I think, the top banner on the page as it stands right now. Get involved. Okay, so this is a little bit outside of what we've been talking about, but I think it does buttress up everything we've been addressing. The purpose of the Caltrans Small Business Council, SBC, is to encourage the participation of small businesses with Caltrans and to provide a forum for small business trade associations to comment and provide feedback on Caltrans policies and practices that affect or impact small business utilization and participation in Caltrans contracts and projects. And I mentioned organizations there. You don't have to be in an organization to observe this council or even be part of it. I just want to make that clear. Individuals can also just be part of it. Caltrans uses an external advisory committee to develop solutions to the state's transportation challenges, to disseminate information regarding specific Caltrans projects and programs, and to provide a forum. And I think that's probably one of the most important things they do, for interactive discussions with interested parties and stakeholders from the small business community. So this is a meeting that is, we kind of like are the ones who run I shouldn't say we run, we help organize these meetings is probably the best way to put it. So you'll see a lot of Caltrans folks at these meetings, including occasionally, or even our director will be there. He actually shows up a lot. So the deputy chief of Caltrans in Sacramento. And it is a really great way for you to find out what other businesses are doing, what is Caltrans up to. We're really sort of the trailblazers for the state as far as trying to get small business and inclusion. We realized at some point that most of our money was going to the big fish, and we wanted to make sure that some of that was also going back to some of the family-run businesses, local businesses, and make sure that they were getting their piece of the pie as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I would say check it out. I go to them, I find them very interesting. If you are interested in more information or would like to become a member, we've listed a link for you to check out and see what's going on with that. Okay, so we've kind of gone through a lot of information so far, so we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about some of it and some of the frequently asked questions. Where do you find contract opportunities at Caltrans? To access California's government marketplace, please go to Cali Procure. So Cali Procure is going to be really important. I would say for sure, make sure. That's probably true of any business that's observing today. To access government so go to the Cali Procure. Cali Procure portal is utilized by Caltrans and all other state government agencies. So I should make that point really clear. Not just Caltrans. Everybody, every state agency will be utilizing Cali Procure. And then on the right-hand side there, the contractor's corner, that is super important for construction related businesses. So if you're construction focused in your business or construction adjacent even, I would definitely make sure you check out Contractors Corner. So only folks in the construction side, I would say go to that. Of course, everybody's welcome to look at it, but just to save you some time. Where do I get certified? As we discussed earlier, Caltrans recognizes small business, which includes the micro and SBPW certifications, DVBE and DBE certifications. We only have those three. And we've provided a link for you to go to. I think it's the same one that was listed earlier. For those two certifications, visit the Department of General Services, who certify the SB and DVBE certification. We are providing a link for both. For the DBE certification, so that's going to be a member different because it's on the federal side. You can apply for the certification from any of the 10 certifying agencies that we listed on the prior slide, or a few slides back, I should say, including Caltrans, and that's on the CUCP website. However, Caltrans also has its own DBE website. So since I know Caltrans and I know DBE, I would suggest using that. I don't know if it's any faster or better. I mean, that's a subjective term, but I think just the fact that, there's not a local agency near San Luis Obispo, that would make me probably want to look into Caltrans, but I leave it to you. Who do I reach out to at a state agency to find out how to do business with them? Your best resource is to go to the SBDBBE advocate list. And we have that on a prior slide, the link. I should have had it on here. I apologize. I'm just realizing that. But it is listed earlier in the presentation, and that will allow you to get an Excel spreadsheet, and it has like dozens and dozens of people on it. So you can drill down onto which agencies you want to have. But then also, if you're interested in just doing business with Caltrans at this time, then that would be myself. The DSBLs are the ones to go to for Caltrans. And so that's pretty easy. And we're going to give you a list of all those folks later in the presentation in our resources section. So speaking of DSBLs, District Small Business Liaisons, let's discuss what their role is. So each of the Caltrans 12 districts has at least one district small business liaison. And of course, in District 5, that is myself. Because each district operates individually, some procurement processes may slightly differ amongst the districts. Procurement processes differing is kind of a strong term. I would suggest more like the culture might be different. So they may have, based upon the differences, because remember, imagine District 5 is San Luis Obispo, basically the Central Coast. And then imagine comparing how we do things here and what we are to District 7, which is Los Angeles County and has 12 million people. Yeah, there's going to be some differences there just because of the sheer size. So they'll probably be buying more things than we will because they have more staff, they have more folks working for them, they have more roads that they have to manage, more freeways. So it just makes sense that there will be differences. So I say connect with the district small business liaison that is in the area that you want to work at. Because each district, so your best resource would be the DSBL for the district you wish to work with. And they'll kind of help you identify the next steps. You're always welcome to reach out to me though. So if you're joining us today, because this is a virtual event and you're in Eureka, you're still welcome to always call me. And then I'll help you also get in touch with the person that's kind of local to you up there. DSBLs serve as the district's primary point of contact for small business related concerns, including efforts to increase the participation of certified SB, DVBE, and DBE firms and on Caltrans contracts and procurements. In addition, we provide outreach and advocacy. Once again, I and the other district small business liaisons are your primary point of contact when trying to work with our department, at least initially. I think though there could be a point later where you don't need to be in as close a contact with us, but of course you're always welcome to. There's also a web link on this page for the contact information for all Caltrans DSBLs. So if you click on that link, it'll show you who that person is, where they work. So District 7 or District 5, if you're looking at me, and I'll have the email and phone number for you to contact them. kind of think of it like a concierge. We're not always going to have the information to help you, and we're just sort of like an information hub. But we're here to help for sure. Okay, so next steps. You can reach out and schedule a one-to-one meeting. I do that all the time, at least weekly. I have a small business that has either requested or I've offered to meet with them, and we'll have a virtual meeting. I'm happy to also go meet someone for a cup of coffee if you are like the old-fashioned way of communicating like I do. I'm happy to do that as well. But yeah, we can meet, and you can tell me about your business. I can give you some resources that we offer to small businesses. I can answer questions, and if I don't know the answer, hopefully I can research that for you. You can also sign up for upcoming Caltrans training workshops, which are listed on the small business event calendar. We're going to give you that link at the end. And to market your business, you can attend an outreach networking event. Sometimes districts will have procurement fairs where they'll have small businesses as well as Caltrans purchasers in attendance. And that is something we're hoping to do in the future. COVID kind of interrupted that amongst other things. So, but we're hoping that we can do that. And a lot of the districts are currently doing that. So that's kind of a fun way for you to network with others. And as far as and then there's also of course a lot of other community small business organizations that are independent of Caltrans, for instance the Women's Business Center. So let's take a look at those. The Apex accelerators are specifically meant to assist businesses with bidding on government contracts. Now let me just start with all the resources I'm going to explain right now. I'm really not giving them the justice they deserve. They do many things, and there's a lot of overlap. I'll bet you the Women's Business Center could also help. Golden State Apex is located in Bakersfield, and they can provide services virtually. So Bakersfield's a little far for us here in San Luis Obispo, about an hour and a half, I think. But you could always not have to go there. The Women's Business Center have purposely designed programs and resources for women business operators, but all are welcome. And they have a brick and mortar office here in San Luis Obispo. They have locations throughout this whole state, though. The Small Business Development Centers offer a multitude of programs to assist new and established companies here in San Luis Obispo. The SBDC is affiliated with Cal Poly, and they also have a brick and mortar office. I think it's downtown. SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives, another mouthful. SCORE focuses on mentoring for business operators by experienced business people. A lot of times they're retirees, not always, and they have just tons of experience, and they're just kind of happy to give you the information, perhaps talk about the some of the mistakes they made, some of the opportunities they were able to develop, and often they're in sort of the same business area that you're interested in, and so they can offer some sage advice, hopefully. The Small Business Administration, oh, by the way, they have a San Luis Obispo chapter as well. It's SCORE. The Small Business Administration is a federal umbrella agency that assists small businesses and organizations. Their offices and website also act as an informational hub for small business resources. I went on there just a couple of days ago, in fact, and they have contacts for almost every kind of organization you can think of. So it might be a good place to start while you're trying to find what you're looking for. And we're going to provide, we have on this page, I forgot. We provided some links to help you to get to the websites of those folks and to be able to, maybe find out more information, book an appointment with them, and then go from there. Most of these services are offered by organizations at either low cost or no cost. And here's some procurement specific resources that Caltrans offers. So the previous slide was more about other community organizations. This is going to be strictly Caltrans here. The main site for Caltrans is dot.ca.gov. I mean, our actual technical name, by the way, I should point that out, is the California Department of Transportation. Everybody, including all of our employees, including our own marketing, says Caltrans. So either one will work. But yeah, that's our official name. And so dot.ca.gov is our main website. It is pretty vast. It has a lot of information. It's really great. And you will find certification info page link on here as well. Again, if you're looking to get yourself certified. So this is going to talk about all three of those certifications and just kind of give you a place to start. Caltrans near me, if you're trying to find out what district you're in, and we're going to provide you a map, by the way, that'll help you with that. And we have also provided the DPAC webpage, and that's dedicated to commodities, which are products that Caltrans purchases. So DPAC is an internal division of Caltrans once again. Here's some general resources that Caltrans offers. Our website, again, I talked about that at the top. The Office of Civil Rights, it is kind of a name that maybe doesn't grab your attention as a small business owner necessarily, but it is. Actually, they do a lot of the oversight, and they, for instance, are the ones who help do the Small Business Council, and they have an entire page dedicated to small business resources and information, and so we've provided that, but they're another great, so that's another internal division here at Caltrans. I talked about it before, but the outreach events calendar is really helpful. That's going to show all outreach that Caltrans participates in, including today. So my event was on there as well, but all the different districts, you know, from top to bottom California, all small business Caltrans related events and outreach will be listed on there. Keep in mind, by the way, that much of it is going to be virtual. So that is pretty cool. So you don't have to, so you could attend something in LA without too much bother. But they do also have in-person events, and it'll let you know what that is. Like if this is a virtual, this is a hybrid, or if this is an in-person event, because that might not be as much of a fit for you, but maybe you're looking forward to that as well. By clicking on a specific event listed on the calendar, you can see which district is hosting it, how to register, the event details, the topic, for instance, and usually they have also like a description in case that doesn't immediately tell you what the theme of the event will be. There's also, and then, oh yeah, please note that, like I said, please note that many of these events are going to be, again, going to be held virtually. And then we have the Cali Procure link once again, just because it's so important, and the Contractors Corner page, excuse me. Okay, we also have, and I probably listed this darn thing like 3 times, so apologies, but we have the DBE related website, and there's 2. The first one I think is going to be like an informational one, just kind of explaining a little bit. And then the one below it is actually the main website where you can register and also have your profile as a DBE. We have the skippers. Again, we talked about that. And then the contract cost data website. I'm not as familiar with that website, I'm going to be honest with you, but I know for a lot of folks, especially those who've been really selling to the state or to Caltrans for many years, they like to really go to that one. So check it out. Okay, we talked about it. This is the map of California, and it's got all of the counties as well as all the districts. And it talks about, so if you look on here, it'll kind of tell you where you're at. Obviously, we're here in the sort of lower middle, I guess you'd call it, in the Central Coast. And that is the District 5 map. And you can tell by looking at some of these districts, they're not always chronologically where they should logically be. But I think what's happened is over the years, we've realized Orange County, for instance, was getting so big population-wise, it just had to be its own district. So they added that later. San Diego's there at the bottom. Districts 1, 2, and 3 are at the top, which are going to be more rural areas. The Bay Area, of course, is District 4, and 10, and 6, and 9 are going to be like San Luis Obispo, perhaps a little bit more rural, more agricultural. And so that just shows you where you're at. And if you click on each of the district names, so if you click on District 5 here at the lower left-hand corner, it'll take you to the website pages on the dot.ca.gov. And we actually have a pretty large section that's just devoted to District 5. So check that out. I actually think the local district sites are just as important as the Caltrans one. So check that out. And and then refer to this map as well if you're thinking. So you live in District 5 and you've been doing great. You've been doing all this work with Caltrans in District 5, but you're like, hey, District 6 right next door, or District 10's just not too far away either, or shoot, we should look at the Bay Area. Again, refer back to this map to see what district that is, first of all, and then who the person is on the DSBL list the link that we gave you earlier. Okay, that kind of brings us to the end, and if you have any questions, we would love to answer those.